Over the last few weeks, I suppose the last 2 weeks now that Call of Duty Black Ops 6 has been out, we've talked a bunch about the campaign. And we've talked quite a bit about my thoughts on it and the things that I enjoy, the things that I didn't enjoy, the parts where it held me and kept me interested, and then the parts where it completely lost me. And I guess online, a lot of people share some of the same values, some of the same opinions, I should say, that I had about the game. The first part is really interesting and intriguing. The middle part is like, what the fuck? And then the rest is like, meh, right? So in me saying that, I also noticed that a lot of people came to the comment section and started saying things like, you know, you YouTubers will never be happy with the game. You'll always find some problems with it. Now, this isn't an explanation to those people. It's just a conversation about the risk that Black Ops 6 took and my actual stance on the game. First of all, I don't hate the game. And I like a lot of Call of Duties, to be honest. As you guys know, I do try to like most of the Call of Duties out there, just because why am I going to hate on something? It doesn't bring me anything of value. I just talk about my opinion, and some of you like it, some of you don't like it, some of you agree, and some of you don't. And one thing that I can compliment, Treyarch and Black Ops 6 is the risk taking. There was a lot of risks in this game. Now, it had a 4-year development period. And so obviously you would expect things to be good, things to be different, things to be built correctly, the missions to vary, right? And so we went with an open combat mission concept once again, something that began with Modern Warfare 3. Now, Modern Warfare 3, as we've talked about endlessly, didn't do it right, didn't do it properly. They kind of just used Warzone assets and threw them into the campaign and expected us to just kind of play and kill a bunch of characters that had no variety and didn't do or try to do anything different. It was just a bunch of enemies and we just kind of had to plow through them. And so when the announcement came that, Black Ops 6 was also going to be incorporating open combat missions, there was doubt, and rightly so. There was hesitance because you didn't know if it was going to be good or if it was going to be the repeat of what you got in Modern Warfare 3. But so many fans were saying, let Treyarch cook. Treyarch never fails. Treyarch always delivers. Well, I've already seen people turn on Treyarch because they don't like the multiplayer maps, because they didn't like zombies, because the campaign wasn't what they thought. So I'm glad that some of this happened, because now maybe we don't give these developers all the credit all the time as if they're never going to fail, because failures do happen and you're never going to satisfy everyone no matter what. But the open combat missions in Black Ops 6 were way, way better than they were in Modern Warfare 3. These open combat missions actually felt like they took their time on. They actually felt like they had 4 years of development behind them. The designs of the maps, the design of the missions itself, there was a lot of variety to them. You could tackle missions in different ways. You could approach them silently. You could approach them action-packed. So many different things, and also so many things hidden in the missions themselves. You could find documents, you could talk to people. Just, it felt like an actual story mode. It felt like an actual campaign. But even though they were very well done, even though they were miles better than Modern Warfare 3, and I actually had fun playing them because they reminded me of like a BioShock game, or maybe like even a Far Cry, or maybe like a Cyberpunk, when you have open concept and an open area and you're supposed to complete a mission. A lot of the missions that I did in Cyberpunk 2077 with V were similar to some of the stuff that I did in Black Ops 6. So yeah, it was different, but a lot of people still didn't like it, because even though it gained something really cool in the way that you do the open combat missions, and you kind of feel like a little superhero, or like some sort of badass John Wick, or maybe a 007 agent, where you're kind of being able to take on everything by yourself, you kind of miss that camaraderie that you had with some of your friends, with some of your peers, and doing missions that you guys tackle as a team, right? And those linear missions, those setups that are already predetermined almost, make for really cool action sequences, like the very first mission in Cold War, like some of the missions in Modern Warfare. Just those linear missions just have a place in Call of Duty, and I don't think that they should ever disappear. But again, Black Ops 6 took risk in that regard. And from many things that I've read and things that we've covered here on the channel, it looks like open combat missions is the way to go for a lot of Call of Duties moving forward. And I think that they're going to extend beyond Modern Warfare and beyond Black Ops 6. It looks like it's going to be the new norm. So we're going to have to get used to them. But I hope that we don't completely lose some of those linear missions that have made Call of Duty great. And so although Black Ops 6 took risks in that regard, hopefully they can find a way to balance it out to give the fans a unique taste of both. And another way that I think Black Ops 6 took risk is obviously the missions. I also read that some people were commenting that they were happy that Black Ops 6 took risk and tried something new. They were happy to see Black Ops break out from the norm, or Call of Duty, I should say, break out from the norm of the shoot bad guy here, move on, shoot bad guy here, move on. They enjoyed the horror aspect. They enjoyed the zombies aspect in the campaign, the mannequins. They enjoyed the sci-fi, the mind control, where you kind of threw all reason out the window and, you were tackling a demon basically within yourself. And the storytelling was very unique. It was very different. And although some people would argue that Black Ops always had mind control or hallucinations, it never had it to this extent, I believe. The horror aspect, once you started playing those missions, you couldn't tell me that was a Call of Duty game. You couldn't. Once again, the mission of Emergence reminded me so much of Remedy's Control, reminded me so much of that Alan Wake type of stuff. It reminded me of one of those horror games where you are stuck somewhere and it's first person and it's scary as hell. It reminded me of Resident Evil 8. It was just so different. It felt like a game inside of a game, right? It felt like it just completely detached itself from the Call of Duty universe. And so that's why I think that the pacing was a little bit off, because the game was building towards something, and then when you hit that point, it completely turns it on its head. And it's funny because after that mission, you end up doing a casino heist and, you're underground. And while I'm underground, I forgot that it was Call of Duty, and I was kind of scared and worried that something was going to creep up out of the corner, or I was going to see a mannequin or a zombie or a monster or something grab me and pull me. And then I realized, dude, this is Call of Duty, relax. But it created a fear. It created a sense of urgency. It created a sense of surprise. It created a sense of something different. So yeah, in that regard, it was done very, very well. And the risks that it took were positive overall, because I think a lot of people enjoyed that aspect. But the problem with that is that, once again, you're going to have a divide. You're going to have some people that just absolutely loved it and adored it, and then you're going to have another people that just feel that it has no place for it. Like, Call of Duty has no place for that type of stuff. And if it does, maybe tackle it in a different way. So many people didn't like that you had 4 zombie bosses that you had to fight in that particular mission. It felt like overkill. Some people think that 1 or 2 would have been just perfect. Some people think that Treyarch were being lazy by adding the zombies aspect. I don't think that they were lazy. I thought they wanted to try something different, like I've mentioned before. And if it worked out or it didn't, that's not really up to us. But overall, the campaign has gotten overwhelmingly positive reviews by a lot of people, right? And not that many people have complained all that much about the zombies. I kind of did, just because it wasn't my cup of tea. I didn't like it. I didn't expect it. I didn't want it. But that doesn't mean that I hate the game. That doesn't mean that I hate Treyarch and I think they fucking ass. No, I don't. It was just not for me in that particular mission. But, you gotta commend it. If you're a Black Ops fan, you know that you're getting a game well made, completed, and that takes risks. Lastly, I think that some of the places where Call of Duty Black Ops 6 took some risk was not giving in and bringing characters back from the dead. It could have been very easy to bring Alex Mason back, right? There was a lot of speculation about him, a lot of speculation about his character and him being alive, a lot of theories on it. They could have given in and easily done it, and it would have been welcomed, I think, by a lot of fans. But they didn't. They didn't bend, and they stuck to the choice, and they killed Alex Mason, and it seems like they moved on. Now, could I be wrong? And could the Warzone storyline that precedes the campaign bring Alex Mason back? Absolutely, it could, right? But as for the campaign that we got, and as of the date of this video being recorded, which is November 3rd, 2024, Alex Mason is still confirmed dead. Black Ops didn't bend, and they did not try to bring him back. They kept him dead, and they moved on from his character, which I think is a huge risk, because it's your most well-known character. It is, the best character. Alex Mason is Black Ops for a lot of people. So it's a big risk, and I don't know that Modern Warfare would kill off Captain Price, because can you move on from Captain Price from the Modern Warfare series? I think that you can, but I don't know that they would. I also like the fact that Call of Duty Black Ops 6 tries to introduce new villains, new factions. Some people think that maybe you have too many factions, but I think that it's a risk to continue to try to innovate and not rely on things of the past. You try to create a new villain in Pantheon, something within the CIA. You do mention Menendez and other, things that preceded this particular game, but overall you're trying something new with new villains and new characters, and you're concentrating on them. And I think that's a big risk as well, and I think it's paying off, and I think that it's the right step to move forward with the franchise. And it's something that maybe Modern Warfare could try to do a little bit more. So overall, I think that that Black Ops 6 did take a lot of risk. Do I hate the game? Absolutely not. I think it's a good game overall. I think there was parts that I didn't like, but oh well, that sucks. Whatever. We move on and we enjoy it the best that we can. But overall, those are my thoughts on Black Ops 6 and its risk taking.